Welcome, everybody, to Pinfalls and Passports. For those who don't already know, this is a podcast for people just like you who love the sport of professional wrestling. And for people and members of our WWE Travel Community Discord to keep us entertained and engaged during the year leading up to WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. So, not a member of the WWE Travel Community? Come and join one of the fastest growing pro wrestling communities online. You can find the Discord invite link here in the podcast bio. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Pinfalls and Passports. And now on TikTok, Pinfalls_Passports. We're having some fun with that at the moment. So please join us over there. And please do not forget to follow and subscribe to this podcast to keep up to date with all things involving the WWE Travel Community server and anything regarding wrestling in general. My name is Daddy Dom, and for today's episode, you asked, you shall receive, a Vegas hotels special, and I am joined by another Vegas veteran, my co-host today, Katie. We are going to share with you today all our best tips for booking your hotels for Vegas Mania 2.0. And Vegas in general. We're going to cover location tips. We're going to cover resort fees. We're going to cover parking, strip versus downtown, lots more. Katie, how you feeling about this episode today? I'm hyped.
I am so excited. Other than wrestling, Vegas is my passion. I am a Vegas regular, so much like you. So I am very excited to talk about one of my favorite places to travel to.
100%. Yeah, me too. I've actually only been to Vegas for wrestling once, and that was last year. This is going to be
Okay.
my second time for wrestling in Vegas, but I've been to Vegas for many other reasons
That's right.
before that. So, yeah, we've got lots of tips, lots of advice. Both me and Katie have been MGM Rewards members for a number of years. We've stayed at the Caesars properties. We've stayed at loads of places. I've stayed downtown. I've stayed on the Strip. So we're going to fill you in on all the tips and what you should be looking at when planning your trip ready for Vegas and WrestleMania. And we went out to the server and asked a few questions. And there's lots of questions about about should I be staying? So do I need to stay on the Strip? What's it like? What if I stayed at the Rio? That's looking really cheap. We're going to give you some advice on what we think's best for your visit. There is no right or wrong answer. You are going to stay where you want to stay. And the best thing about Vegas is there's a good chance whatever hotel you book, as long as it's one of the sort of well-known ones, it is going to be pretty special. Even the cheaper hotels that you see, especially the MGM ones and the Caesars ones, are still phenomenal hotels, incredible properties, and you really do get good bang for your buck in Vegas. There's a lot of rooms there, and you're getting a good hotel for your money. But there's lots of other things that are involved with the booking process that are really, really important to bear in mind, especially as the prices go up and down as we get to April. So we want to make sure that you're making the right decisions, not getting yourself tied into something you might see better down the line you can't get out of. So let's start, Katie. You tell me, where have you been staying recently in Vegas? Where are your favorite spots?
Oh my goodness. So recently I have been loyal to Aria. My most recent trip was at the Cosmo. That was the first time at the Cosmo. They are new to the MGM family,
Yeah.
but I've stayed at, let me look at my list here. I've stayed at Aria, I've stayed at Vidara, I've stayed at Cosmo, I've stayed at MGM Grand. And that's where I've stayed for MGM hotels. And for the Caesars hotels, I've stayed at Caesars Palace and Flamingo and the Link. So I've stayed at those three, but MGM has been treating me a little bit better in terms of freebies and comps. So for the last about 5-6 years now, I have been loyal to MGM hotels.
Yeah, same for me, pretty much. I go to Vegas like once a year normally, and I always get a really, really good deal through the MGM reward scheme. That doesn't mean that I spend a lot of money, by the way, on gambling. I
That's
don't.
right.
I never.
That's right.
It's really, a lot of people think it's based on your tier. I'm gold, I'm silver, I'm whatever. That's what's going to get me cheap hotel rooms. That's not necessarily true. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you spent 50 grand in a casino and you're going back to MGM 3 months later, they are probably going to comp your rooms for you. But that is not the be all and end all.
No.
I've never even got beyond Pearl on my MGM
Yeah.
rewards,
Yeah.
and I still get offered fantastic room deals. I'll talk a little bit about the room that I've already got booked for.
Well, I think first we need to explain to people what rewards are, like what we're talking about here,
100%. Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So when You go to Vegas Hotel. If you haven't been to Vegas before, these are not just hotel, these are resorts, and these resorts are primarily focused around what Vegas is famous for, and that is casinos. And what they want you to do, and what we recommend you do wherever you're staying, whether it's at a Caesar's hotel like Caesar's Palace or Planet Hollywood or Paris or Horseshoe, wherever that may be, or whether it's one of the MGM ones, make sure you get one of those players cards when you get in there, right? Use this card.
That's located in the casino. You gotta go to the rewards desk in the casino, get a little player's card. Oh, I don't have mine. Usually I keep them at my desk. Actually, hold on. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Ah, look what I have. I'm gonna block out my number. Give me a second here.
Look at that.
So this is mine. So Pearl status, older card from January 2023, but it still works. But this is the rewards card that you will be getting.
I lose about 3 of those every single trip. I will put them in a machine and I will leave them in
You
there
will
and
leave
I
the
will
machine.
forgot. And then definitely the last time I went, I think on the last day I left it in, I was like, oh, I can't bother to go and get another one. It doesn't matter. You just queue up and then we'll give you another one. There you go. That looks like the most
There you go.
recent one. Yeah.
This is the blue. So this is what everyone is going to start with,
Yeah.
a blue sapphire card. This is base level.
Base level. Absolutely.
That's
So
that.
use this card, or at least once you've got to hotel. Now, if you're US based, you can sign up for MGM rewards, I believe, before you
Mhm.
arrive. If you're not US based, you will need to do that when you're at the casino because they need a little bit more documentation, and you just can't fill in the MGM rewards thing if you haven't got like an American
That's right.
zip code, right? So you'll need to do that. If you're US based, do that before. Get your MGM rewards account set up and get that sort of ready to go. If it's MGM you're staying at, if it's Caesars, exactly the same. If you're staying in Fremont Street in downtown area, the D, again, absolutely same situation. Wherever you're staying, pretty much any casino hotel is going to have some kind of rewards scheme. But Caesars and MGM are the
Right.
ones that we're going to talk about the most because A,
Yeah.
they have the most hotels, so the most variety. So there's a good chance that you're going to stay. They're in the location that you're probably going to want to be in the middle of the action for WrestleMania and all the events going on surrounding that. And we're going to talk about how you can use those, perhaps for future trips. Now, you might be thinking, well, I know a lot of people probably thought last year, I won't be going to Vegas again anytime soon.
Yep.
So I won't bother doing that. Well,
We told you so. I told you so. I
absolutely.
told you guys from day one.
Yeah,
When you go to Vegas, get the card because even if you don't plan on future trips, anything that you put on that card can essentially get taken off your final bill when you're checking out. Who doesn't want free stuff?
absolutely. And if you're eating in a restaurant, if you are at a bar, if you're staying in an MGM property, for instance, you can just put that bill, no matter where you're staying, and you can put
That's
that
right.
bill onto your room. So you could be staying at the Park MGM, for instance, but you could be having a meal at the other side of the strip at Mandalay Bay, and you can just say, charge this to my room. And when they charge that to your room, that means that's going to click your rewards points right up. And the more
Mhm.
they see that you're spending, and it really doesn't have to be that much, but the fact that they just see that you are spending means that you are going to get a much better deal next time you return. Now, as I said, I only go once a year, usually, maximum. Well, not maximum. Okay. I've been a couple of times, I've been twice, but in 1 year. But most years, I only go once a year.
Yeah.
And this year, I did take a bit of a gamble. I booked the MGM Grand
Mhm.
for a week for the Tuesday of WrestleMania week, and it was about a few days before they actually officially announced it. But so I wasn't 100% sure on the dates, but I took a bit of a gamble and booked myself a room. I've got myself the Tower Spa Suite at the MGM Grand. Go and check out that room if you want to have a look and see how much that costs. With my MGM rewards, which is currently on 0 level. It's on Sapphire because so it's on the basic level. So it's nothing to do with any gambling that I did last time I was in Vegas because I barely did any. For the whole week, I'm paying $580. That is including taxes and resort fees.
And the resort
And the
fees.
resort fees.
That's a big one because resort fees can go up to 45. I think at MGM it's like 45 or $50 a day plus tax.
Absolutely. But because they gave me
Wow.
4 of those nights out of those
Yeah.
7, absolutely free of charge, on those 4 nights, they knocked the resort fee off for that night.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
I'm
We love that.
so I'm paying less than
Um,
$600 for a suite with a jacuzzi in the MGM Grand on WrestleMania week, and that's just because I signed up for MGM Rewards all those years ago. You go and try and book that now, that's gonna cost you probably, if you can get one, over $3,000. So it
yeah.
makes a huge, huge difference to your budget. It makes a huge difference to my budget as somebody that's going to be traveling in from the UK. It's already going to be an expensive trip, but the fact I don't
Mhm.
have to spend a couple of $1,000s on a hotel for the week and I'm going to be staying in luxury, it's an absolute no-brainer for me
Of
to
course.
go to WrestleMania. Even if it wasn't WrestleMania, even if I couldn't afford to
Yeah.
go to WrestleMania, I'm still going to Vegas for that week and I'm spending it in that spa suite, right? So
Yeah.
we mentioned resort fees. Let's talk on resort fees. What are resort fees, Katie? Explain to our listeners if they don't know.
Ah, they're a scam. No, I'm joking.
Oh, well,
They're
you're not.
not. Essentially, I mean, resort fees are most common in resorts within North America, right? So you're thinking resort, you're thinking like a beach resort, all inclusive. No, any hotel with casino and other amenities, they're going to consider that in North America to be a resort. So what are they? They're mandatory nightly charges added to your hotel bill, covering access to various hotel amenities such as free Wi-Fi, fitness centers, pools, and it is in addition to the base room rate. They are charged at check-in, and at the MGM hotels, they range between $45 to $55 a day plus tax. And at Caesar's hotels, they are $37 to $45 a day plus tax. So Caesar's hotels charges a little bit less on the hotel on the resort fees, but they are most likely going to charge more for the room. So it all ends up kind of being a wash,
Yeah,
right, Dom?
absolutely. 100%. Look,
Yeah.
and a lot of questions get asked is, can I get out of my resort fees? I'm not going to use the pool. I've
No.
never, ever been in a pool in Las Vegas. Every time I go to Vegas, I take my swimwear, and not once have I got in a pool
Oh, I live at
out
the
that
pool.
trip. We have different trips, Katie.
We do. We definitely do.
This year, or next year, should I say?
Yeah.
I will try and get in a pool, but no, you cannot get out of them. You will have to pay them. There are some ways you can get out of them, like if you've got some
Unless you
Chrome,
got these cards.
unless you got this guy. If you're a platinum MGM reward member, you will get your resort fees knocked off. No problem at all.
I have my resort fees knocked off and I'm only Pearl
Oh,
status.
there you go.
There you go. I actually have MGM Grand booked as well for Vegas, but I'm not going as long as you. Right now I have Thursday to Monday booked.
Mhm.
I'm just in a basic king room, 4 comp nights, $100 free play, and $100 resort credit, and no resort fees for a grand total of
Yeah,
$0.
yeah. So because you got the 4 nights, right? Yeah. So that's yeah.
That's right. So all thanks to these
Yeah,
cards.
100%. Yeah, I forgot about
So
that. The additions as well. Yeah, I'm getting, I can't remember what it is this
yeah,
year, but it's about the same as what you're getting, $100
yeah,
credit to pay on the machines, 150 or something like that, about $150 resort credit, which comes in really
yeah.
useful. Resort credit, let's just explain what that is. That's for spending in any basically restaurants or bars throughout any of the MGM properties. You can just
Yeah.
basically you just add them to your room and they just take them off your bill at the end of the trip. So yeah, so are there any hotels that don't charge resort fees?
Oh, there are. There's not a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and the ones that do not are not on the strip, except for one, and those are the Skylofts at MGM Grand. However, I don't think anybody here wants to be paying $4,000 a night,
No,
right?
correct.
Those are the suites. Yeah, we're not here for that. But the most, there's like let me see here. I think about 9. So I'll name them off for you. Skylofts at MGM Grand, Marriott Grand Chateau. That's located behind the strip, about 5-minute walk from your front door to the strip. Wyndham Grand Desert, Wyndham Desert Blue, Hilton Garden Inn, Las Vegas City Center, Desert Rose Resort. That's also behind the strip, about a 5-minute walk. Hyatt Place, Las Vegas, Courtyard by Marriott, Las Vegas South. This one is closest to the stadium with no resort fees.
Okay,
So if you want a really close walk, it's like right across the street from the stadium,
perfect.
but it's going to be quite a big walk to the strip. And then the Four Queens, that's on Fremont Street. So that's one of the ones downtown Las Vegas. Now, we also have to keep in mind the resort fees do taxes do apply to these resort fees. However, the sales tax in Las Vegas is 8.38%, but when it comes to hotels, it's quite higher. It's actually applied at 13.38%. So they tack on an additional 5% to that. So keep that in mind when looking at hotels. But those are going to be the Wyndham, the Hilton Garden, Hyatt, Courtyard, Four Queens, Skylofts. Those are going to be the ones without resort fees, and we will post that in our server.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, I have noticed looking this year when I did a bit of research for a little bit of extra research for this episode, and just
Mhm.
doing some research for some of the guys on the server the other day about booking hotels, was the
Yeah.
websites seem a lot more transparent than they used to be. It used to seem like there was a lot of hidden costs. I know I'd turn up in Vegas and I'd be like, certainly the first time I ever went anyway, thinking this is what it's going to be. Then you get there and you're like, oh, there's this tax and there's this resort fee. And doesn't seem to be, things have improved. Looks like there's some laws changing. Things look a lot more
That's right.
transparent, even on the MGM websites now. And even when if you're booking through third party, which I don't always recommend, but there may be some deals to be had potentially through booking.com or hotels.com if you do see it.
Or Vegas.com.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't always, you're usually going to get the best deal if you go direct with Las Vegas. That is the general rule. But that's not the be all and end all. If you do see something cheaper and it's clearly defined on the website that it includes all the
Mhm.
taxes and all the resort fees and all these, and it is cheaper, then there will be some exceptions to that to the rule
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem a lot clearer these days, and I think it makes it easier for people to. But there is one other thing that may trip some people up, isn't it, Kay, when they arrive at the hotel, and that is the security deposit. Now, I think we're all used to paying a security deposit when we arrive at a hotel. In the UK, here, pretty standard. You arrive, they hold £50 on your card for your stay, and then they give you that
And
£50 back
that's it.
when you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's minimal, and it's for the whole stay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
£50. Yeah, what bit different in Vegas, though, eh?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so a lot of people were surprised last year when checking in because Vegas holds 100 to $150 per day security hold. So you're going for 4 days, $100 a day. That's $400 that you came with or that you had like on your credit card that you thought you were going to have access to that you're not going to have access to because there is a hold. That hold will get released upon checkout. So you will have that money, but you're just not going to get it have access to it until you check out of your
Yeah.
hotel. However, with that being said, Dom, what do you do in these cases
So
when they're holding on to your money?
So they are going to hold on to this money, but there is a little hack you can use. So I'm going
That's
to give an
right.
example. So if you're staying at one of the slightly cheaper hotels, they usually take a less deposit for a start. So if you're worried about them taking that deposit, try and book one of the cheaper hotels. So if it's
Mhm.
MGM, for instance, somewhere like Luxor, Excalibur, New York, Park MGM, MGM Grand, which I think is a little thing. Well, maybe that's actually in the slightly in the middle category now. But
Yeah.
but certainly those four I know only charge $50 a day security
As of right now.
as of right now. Yeah, yeah,
But you go on the website, guys, before you go to Vegas, go on the website. It will have on the website what the security hold will be.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It can change absolutely. If you're staying at somewhere like Aria, one of the nicer hotels, you're
That's
looking.
150.
It's 150. Same with Cosmopolitan. So if you're staying at one of those, Bellagio as well, $150 a day. If you're staying for 7 nights, if you're staying for longer, that adds up. But
Real fast.
yeah, 100%. So make sure you've got that available cash when you go because you don't want to be thinking, oh, I've got all this money to spend in Vegas. And then you get there and suddenly it's all locked away. But what if
That's
that
right.
happens? What can you do? Well, there is one other thing that you can do because the great thing about staying at MGM properties and the same with Caesars as well is that whichever, if you want to eat, you want to go out for drinks, things like that, you can actually charge to your room. And I recommend you do this wherever possible because when you're charging to your room, that means it's going to end up on your final bill. Just make sure
Mhm.
you're keeping an eye on what you're spending, obviously, and keeping a track of it so you don't get a fright at the end. But if you're comfortable with that, charge everything to your room where possible. What that means, if I'm staying at the Park MGM and I'm having a meal down at Mandalay Bay, I can say, okay, I'm staying at Park. This is my room number. Here's my ID. And they won't take your credit card payment for you. They'll just stick it on your room and you'll pay it when you leave. The great thing about that is if you've got quite a high security deposit, all they're going to do is they're going to deduct whatever that final bill is from that security deposit. So if you feel that
Mhm.
you're out of money, but you know you've got $700 tied up in a security deposit, just go and have a bite to eat at one of the other MGM hotels and have a couple of drinks there or something, and then put them on the room because they will
That's right.
take that off your security deposit at the end. They'll take it out of that when they give the deposit back. So
Yeah.
it's not
You're not stuck.
completely locked away. You can charge to your room and they'll take off there as well. But yeah, massive thing to worth bearing in mind there because it does give people a bit of a shock.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it is, please guys, be mindful. You can always turn on the TV, check your folio every day, check to see what kind of charges have been applied to your room. It is so easy to get carried away and just be like, charge it to my room, charge it to my room. And then next thing you're thinking you've only spent a couple $100, but you've really spent like a couple thousand, right? So I personally have never made that mistake, but I know just how tempting and alluring Vegas is, and I do know some people that have gotten a little carried away, so there's always ways to keep track, and you can even keep track of your in-room spending on the for example, at MGM, the MGM app.
You can?
You can keep track of all your spending, how far you've advanced in that point system. Same with Caesars, they have an app. All the main hotels, they have apps. So it's really, really, really easy to hold yourself accountable and to keep
Absolutely.
track of all your
Yeah.
spending.
And not just your food and beverage spending, you're gambling too. If you are going to
That's a
gamble,
big one.
you can track how much you've gambled, and they will break it down into your win versus your losses per
Yep.
hotel, per casino that you've been in. You'll be able to see a full itemized list as you go on, so you can know how much you're up, or more likely, how much you are down.
Look at that, Dom. We never look at that. Oh my god, the one time I looked at it, I was freaking out. I was like, "What?" Like, I never had this amount of money. Like, how did this happen? But that's a completely different story for a different day.
The cash
I don't
in
even
can be
know.
quite surprising. You can spend a few hours there and you
Yeah.
can think, well, how have I spent that money? Because I only went in with $200 and I left with 100. So how have I put
Ho
$5,000 in?
well, that's well,
I'm kind of
that's
winning and losing, winning and losing. It's just been adding up and adding up. So that you cash in is like everything you're taking out, but everything you're putting back in again. Before you know it, you're
it's your up and
$1,000 in.
downs, but
Yeah,
that's yeah, that we're not gonna get into that. That's for, like, another episode of this mini series, this Vegas mini series, right?
absolutely, 100%. Right. Couple more things I wanted to point out just while we're talking about hotels is smoking policies.
Yeah.
You always used to be able to smoke in Las Vegas. And the one thing about Las Vegas is that you will notice something that you won't notice pretty much anywhere else in most places in the world now. You can smoke inside the casino, at
Mhm.
least. You can't really smoke inside the rooms anymore. And a lot of people make those mistakes. People used to be able to get smoking rooms in hotels. So the idea that you can smoke in the casino downstairs, you kind of think automatically, oh, it'll be okay to smoke in my room. Not true. Not always the case. Most hotel rooms now are completely non-smoking. Even I think the last one was probably MGM that still had smoking rooms, and they've redeveloped those rooms now, and they are now not
Yep.
smoking. There are a couple of exceptions to both rules, the smoking and the non-smoking. So I just wanted to point out one hotel. If you really hate smoking and you don't want to be around smoking, Park MGM is the only non-smoking hotel on the strip. That means
Mhm.
nobody can smoke on the casino floor, and they are really, really strict about it. If they see you even tugging on a vape in there, they will. Well, they'll come and have a word with you. They won't do anything bad, but they'll tell you not to and kick you out. But the rest of the hotels, generally, you can smoke on the floor. There are some no smoking areas, usually in most of them, but they are few and far between. But they certainly on the strip hotels, the air conditioning is so good that it
Oh
won't,
my god.
yeah, it won't bother you if you're worried about like walking through like you saw in the old 1950s movies, scenes of Vegas where it's all just a big cloud of smoke. On the strip, that's not the case. The air conditioning is fantastic in all the hotels. You really can't smell the smoke. You're not coming out smelling your clothes at the end of the night. You're not smelling like smoke.
Yeah.
on the Strip.
I was gonna
And
say,
I am gonna
I recall my experience on Fremont to be a little different, but
yeah,
I haven't been there in so long, so I don't know
yeah.
how it's like now.
Fremont Hotel, so we're talking about your Binions, we're talking about your Four Queens, we're talking about your D. The
Circa's a good one,
so
and that's an adults only. You don't wanna be around kids when you're in Vegas, at least I don't.
no, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they are not quite as advanced with the air conditioning. So be aware that
Mm.
if you want that more authentic retro vintage Vegas experience and you like the idea of seeing a load of old ladies sitting in the machines and smoking lots of cigarettes and you want to come out and you want to be able to smell that on your clothes and really get that sort of cigar and cigarette smell in your hair. If you like that, because some people do, Fremont Street, downtown Vegas. That's where you
Circus,
great.
circus.
So, well, that's where you stay. Well, you'll get something else if you stay there. But yeah. So let's talk about because one of the main questions is
Mhm.
that we're hearing from people is should I stay in downtown or should I stay on the strip? And for people that don't know Vegas is what is the difference between staying on the
Mhm.
strip and downtown? Because I think when you look on the map, you think, oh, they're just two little areas, they're pretty close to each other. I could probably walk that.
Like a walk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But how often do we get that? I can walk that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Dom, you stayed on both. I've only stayed on the Strip, but you've
I
stayed
stayed in Four
Fremont
Queens.
and you stayed okay.
I've stayed in Four Queens before. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's a really nice hotel. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Four Queens. And the reason I'm mentioning that one is because A, I've stayed there, and B, I know it's quite cheap in order to stay there. And it
Mhm,
also doesn't have resort fees. So if you do make a decision to stay downtown, I can recommend Four Queens. It's a good hotel. It's not
mhm.
it's not like you're going to experience if you stay at Mandalay Bay. You're not going to get the same sort of experience. It's certainly not the kind of experience you're going to get if you stay at somewhere like Aria, which is my heart hotel as well. I love Aria. I love
Mhm.
Cosmopolitan, even though I've never stayed there. But I just love the place.
It's just so nice.
I know, and I was this close to staying Cosmo for Mania last year because they offered me an incredible deal to stay there, and then
Yeah.
I got offered an even more incredible deal about 2 weeks before, and end up at Park MGM where I basically stayed there for free.
Nice.
Yeah, so still haven't stayed at Cosmo, unfortunately. But yeah, if you do want to stay in downtown, great. Look, we had loads of fun last year over in downtown, and there's loads of stuff going on, but do be aware downtown is old Las Vegas. So downtown is what Vegas was before the strip was invented. It was real Las Vegas. It's fun. It's where the bachelor parties go. It's lively. There's loads of entertainment there. It is a great night out. There's great places to eat. There's fantastic things to go and see there. But it is not close to the strip. It is definitely not walkable. You have two really main options that you can do in order to transport. You either get a taxi or an Uber or Lyft or whatever, or you get the juice. You get the juice bus, which is
Yeah.
basically a bus that goes from the bottom of the strip and it takes you all the way to downtown and all the little bits in between Arts District and all that sort of stuff. It takes
Yeah.
quite a while. Some people moan last year
Yeah.
there were some unsavory characters on there and it made them a bit scared. Personally, I've never had any issues on the juice, so I quite enjoy getting on it. But maybe I just like feeling a bit scared sometimes. I like the thrill rides. So, but no, honestly, the juice is usually absolutely fine. Maybe at night
Yeah.
it's can be a bit intimidating, especially if you're
But
on your
that's
own.
what but I mean, any city at night is
A
going to
hundred
have
percent.
some,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest, of all the cities, I've been to a lot of cities in America.
Yep.
I never felt more safe than I have in Vegas. I feel it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And me as a woman, I have felt extremely safe. I often do Vegas, not by myself. I'm usually with others, but I do a lot of things on my own. And I have always felt safe, no matter what time of the day it is, to walk around by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a safe place.
Because you're
People,
surrounded by all tourists. You're surrounded by tourists. Nobody is trying to kidnap
no,
you.
but
Everybody just
they're not, and you see very few police or anything like that because it's very well sort of
yeah,
managed. Certainly not around the
absolutely.
resorts.
And there's cameras
Yeah,
everywhere, even
absolutely.
on the street, inside. outside. Cameras everywhere except your room, obviously, but,
You will hear horror stories and people will try and scare you. Oh, well,
of
don't
course.
walk to the Strat and don't walk down that street or don't walk behind this place. Yeah, I've walked in all those places. They're absolutely fine. Yeah, I can understand when they're dark, they're maybe not quite as lit up as the rest of Vegas is because it's all lit up in neon. So yes, actually, some streets
Mhm.
can get dark in Vegas. I know that might be scary because everything else is so bright, but that does not mean they are dangerous.
No.
You might feel a bit scared if you're on your own and you're walking through a neighborhood that you don't recognize. Well, that's the same for anywhere in the world. Just
Mhm.
be wary. But Vegas is not a dangerous place. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm not saying go and take a walk to the Grand Canyon on your own or walk up to Red Rock or something like that. Probably,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're not going to come across some scary looking neighborhoods in Nevada, but Las Vegas itself is not a dangerous place. Just be sensible, like you would
Yep.
anywhere else. Anyway, I digress. Downtown versus a strip. What are the benefits? So we can see people wanting to book Four Queens because it's cheap. They're thinking they get maybe some better deals downtown because the hotels are a bit cheaper. That makes sense. They are cheaper, but that doesn't mean you can't get as cheap on the strip. But say I'm
That's right.
looking right now, I want to book my hotel at downtown. What is that going to mean for me for my WrestleMania experience, Katie?
Oh boy. Well, a lot like last year, WrestleMania, a lot of the activities were more on the strip, right? We had the Hall of Fame happening at Fontainebleau. We had WWE World happening at the convention center, and we had WrestleCon that was also happening at the Westgate Hotel, and that's all on the strip,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to do anything wrestling related, and of course, WrestleMania, Allegiant Stadium. So if you want to do anything, you are going to have to travel. You're either going to have to take about a 45-minute, 1 hour walk to all those places. And that's being generous. I'm saying 45 minutes to an hour. Walk, Uber, bus. All these things are going to cost you money, right? How much is your time worth at the end of the day and your energy? Vegas is hot. Vegas is a lot of walking, and that's a lot. That's a big thing that surprised a lot of people last year, the amount of walking. And I hate to say I told you guys so, but I warned everybody last year. It's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
So you have to take into consideration how much is your time worth. Personally, if I'm planning a WrestleMania trip and all my activities are going to be WWE related, I'm going to want to stay on the strip
Yeah.
or as close to the strip as possible because then at least I have the option to walk. But not only walk, there are many other methods of transportation that you could take. We have the monorail. The monorail is a monorail system that travels from where does it go from? It goes from MGM
It
Grand
starts
all the
at
way to the
MGM.
convention center.
Yeah, so it goes from MGM and it goes all the way to Westgate and then to the convention center. Yeah.
That's right.
So
So we
we'll
have
stop at Westgate if that's where WrestleCon is going to be again, and then we'll carry on to the actual convention center where WWE World is, and that goes on the side of the strip. Obviously,
east side.
the east side. Thank you, the east side
Yep.
of the strip, and that all
Yeah.
goes all the way up there. So it's going past
Yeah.
places like Planet Hollywood. I think it's one of the stops. I will bring up the stops and get some images out there later. The
Yeah.
one at the link, the Flamingo. So if you're staying to the Flamingo area, that kind of thing, you can jump on there, and then
That's
it
right.
carries on around the corner all the way up to the convention center.
All the way up.
Yeah.
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 And then on the west side, you have the tram. Now, the tram is dedicated specifically for transportation or for going to and from the MGM
Yeah.
brand hotels, right? So you have a tram going from Luxor to Excalibur. So you have one there.
Yeah.
And then you got to hop off, walk across the street over to Park MGM, and you could pick up Park MGM and it takes you so Park MGM, it takes you to the Crystal Shops in Aria, and then from there it also takes you to Bellagio.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. It skips New York, New York only because the proximity between Park MGM and New York, New York. So they kind of skip that stop there.
Yeah.
But that is that. So
Well, there's
you have
there's there's
a couple
there's the other there's
couple
one more, isn't
options
there?
there.
It goes one. There's one more, isn't there, on the tram? There's the Mandalay Bay to
Oh, yes, that's right. My apologies.
Yeah,
Yes. So
yeah,
it's Mandalay Bay
mm,
to Luxor, Excalibur.
that's right. Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
So
Yeah.
it's a little bit you got to hop on, hop off. But the best thing
Choppy.
about it is it's free. It doesn't
Free,
cost
free,
you
free,
any
free.
money, free of charge. The monorail you do have to pay for, but it is
That's right.
free. So you can walk. You don't even have to go outside to get from one end of the strip, but basically from Bellagio, which is kind of the far, not the complete end of the strip, about as far as you're kind of probably going to go unless you're going up to the convention centers. But you can actually walk basically from Bellagio to Mandalay Bay and not have to go outside, pretty much. In
That's
fact,
right.
Cosmopolitan actually
That's
have
right.
linked up that, haven't they, with Bellagio?
Yes.
Um,
Yes, yes, yes.
so you can actually walk all that without even having to go outside.
Mhm.
And then if you want to just walk through and enjoy some of the sights that are through the resorts, because there's stuff to see. Don't get me wrong, it's not all
Yeah.
just gambling machines. Each hotel's got their sort of themes and there's fun things to go and see. So you can do that. And then if you get a bit bored, you can just jump on one of the trams and just skip a little bit. The reason why you want to be at Mandalay Bay or you will want to get there eventually is because if you're going to WrestleMania, that is where you need to be in order to get to Allegiant Stadium, unless you're, of course, driving there. Um,
I want to circle back also on Fremont for a quick second. So let's just say you're dead set. I'm staying at Fremont. I don't want to pay resort fees. I'm going to stay at Four Queens. That's cool, no problem. But just to give you guys an idea, so if you wanted to take a cab from or a Lyft, Uber, whatever, from Fremont to the strip, you're looking at about 20 bucks each way.
yeah,
$20 each way.
minimum.
So let's just say per day, you're looking at $40.
Yeah.
That $40 is essentially your resort fee that you would be paying elsewhere, right? So you could probably get the same rate for your hotel. But yeah, like I said, that $40, that's your you gotta figure out what
Uh,
is important
and
to
that
you.
is a minimum because we're not,
That's
if you're looking to then get from WrestleMania or from
mhm,
Raw, SmackDown to the strip, you're either going to have to wait it out because you're either going to find it quite hard to get a taxi or have to pay a ridiculous surge fee with
mhm.
Uber, where it could triple potentially the cost of that ride, or you're going to have to wait it out. And a lot of
Yeah.
people we just wait it out for the car, just wait it out for a few hours. The good thing about Vegas Mania is that it finishes early, so you can kind of wait out a bit. You don't have to leave because it's only like
Hmm.
finishes at like 8 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock in the
8.
evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you know you don't you're not probably not going to want to go straight home unless you want to get out into downtown. So you can wait it out, but that's going to be expensive too, because why just
Are you
have a
guys
couple of
noticing a trend
yeah,
here? This
buying
is
a
not a
couple of
cheap
drinks at
trip.
a bar is going to cost you another $40. So yeah, overall, it's not going to work out cheaper. Like, and we're not saying
Yeah.
don't stay in downtown. If your plans are to party in downtown every single night and you were going to go there anyway, then I suppose it makes no difference. Stay in downtown by all means and just travel in for the shows. But if your main focus is to go to Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the conventions, WWE World or WrestleCon, and go to WrestleMania, then you want to be in the strip.
Yeah. And and another thing that we noticed last year is a lot of people needed breaks during the day, right? They wake up early, go do a couple things, go to WrestleCon, go to WWE World, and then by the afternoon, they needed a break. They needed to rest their feet. They needed to maybe take a nap, go take a shower, something like that. So again, I stress this. How much is your time worth? Do you like the option of returning to your room for your midday break to rest your feet, freshen up, take a nap? Is it going to be easy for you to return to your hotel? Or even if you choose, one member did this, an Airbnb off the strip. Is it going to be easy for you to come and go, to return to your evening activities? Do you plan on meeting with friends throughout the trip? A lot of us met up in the evening and throughout the day. Where are they staying? Are you going to be far away from them? Is it going to be a pain? Are you just going to have to hang out in somebody's room because it's a pain in the butt to go back to your place? What activities do you have during your whole trip? Like these are so many things that you have to take into consideration. And leading up to WrestleMania last year, there was a lot of unknowns in terms of events, the live podcasts, the indie shows, meet and greets, like the free meet and greets at some of the bars and stuff like that. So now that we're running it back, they're a lot more organized, it seems like this year, right, Dom?
Yeah. Seems that way.
There I mean, yeah, I mean, I believe that there's already been a couple live
Yeah.
podcast shows
Christmas
already
delay already
announced.
announced. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because
yeah,
they can rinse and
and
repeat it a bit, can't they? They've already got a place where someone's
yeah,
going to go back there. If they've got a relationship with the venue already, it's
exactly.
going to be easy for them to probably rebook it as long as they had a good experience there. It makes sense
Yep,
because they'll probably be getting a cheaper rate because it's Las Vegas, baby, and loyalty is
that's
everything.
right. And for a while, we had no clue where WWE or not WWE World, where the Hall of Fame was going to
Yeah.
be, right? I'm gonna bet my left arm that it's going
Oh,
to go back to Fountain Blue again,
100%.
right? So everything is gonna go there. So generally, where all your activities are going to be,
Yeah.
it's up to you.
That's why I
How you
love
gonna play it?
I mean, I stayed at Park, and it's perfect. I love Park anyway.
Perfect
Because
location.
Park, for anybody who wants to stay in a reasonably priced hotel for a start in Vegas, I can't recommend Park MGM enough. It is
Mhm,
one of the not really, especially if you haven't been to Vegas before, it'll be one of the nicest hotels that you've stayed in. It's lovely. It's beautiful. The rooms are great. It's just a nice place to stay. It's got fantastic facilities. It's got great pools. It's got great restaurants, and it
mhm.
is in the perfect location. It is
That's right.
smack bang in the middle of the strip, and it's actually joined on pretty much to T-Mobile Arena. So T-Mobile
Yep,
Arena we know is where NXT, SmackDown, and Raw will all take place. So knowing that there's a hub of activity around the area, lots of events are going to happen around that area anyway because they're so close to that arena. The knowing that if it did get a bit much, or I just wanted to go and just change my clothes, or just wanted to just have a bit of peace and quiet 45 minutes, I could just run up to my room at Park, either before, after the event, when we're out. Having that centralized location for me is absolute gold. That's
yep,
exactly what I wanted. So which end of the strip is better? Well, they're all great for their different reasons. But yeah, for me, it's Central, Park MGM, or where I'm staying this time, MGM Grand, because I'm going to have great easy access to. It's easy to get to T-Mobile from there, nice easy walk, but also to Allegiant Stadium is going to be really smooth. Just walk across the road, walk past Mandalay
mhm.
Bay, and then I'm in the queue on
You're
that
there.
bridge over to Allegiant.
Yeah, south end is of the strip. It's pretty much from Mandalay or from MGM Grand on, so you're not really getting a lot other than your MGM Grand, Park MGM, Excalibur, Luxor, and then Mandalay Bay, right?
Yeah,
You would say like pretty much south end of the strip is starting from MGM Grand. Would you say that, Dom?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Your mid strip hotels is like your Park MGM, New York, Aria, Vidara, Cosmo, Bellagio, Flamingo or not Flamingo, but yeah, sure,
yeah,
let's go with
Flamingo,
Flamingo. Flamingo, Paris, Cromwell. Oh my god, I'm Planet Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple others now that I'm forgetting. Yeah, that's like your mid strip. Caesar's Bellagio. That's your mid strip, and then your north end is pretty much like now we're reaching like Treasure Island and up, right?
Yeah,
Would you say that?
yeah,
Treasure Island, the Wynn. Okay, Fountain Blue. Yes, it is going to be the official WWE hotel. It is very far north of the strip. There is essentially nothing around Fountain Blue. You really got to walk like a solid 10, 15 minutes to kind of get to now where everything is starting to happen. All your happenings of Vegas, right? Would you
100%.
say that,
Yeah,
Dom?
I don't want that bit. Like I
No, no.
I'm
Anything beyond the Win Encore
if
is
I'm if
is
I'm up that way, I'm either jumping on the juice bus back to get me into the what part of the strip I want to be on, or I'm just going to get an Uber for $10 and just whatever to the back of my
yeah,
hotel because it's just that walk itself is just it's not very fun. There's some Vegas
no,
walks which you won't be bothered about because you just look around like, whoa, my goodness, and it's also big, but it just takes. You think things are close, but they are not. So you'll be walking for
no,
a long time. But when there's loads of stuff to look at, you're not that bothered or shops to pop in. But from that end to where you want to be, there isn't really much. It's not very interesting, and that makes that walk really painful. It's not like you
yeah,
can walk through hotels if you get hot because
no,
there aren't walk through linking those hotels. So you're walking in the street, so you're picking up the sun, especially if it's a hot day. You're going to get tired quickly, and you're going to waste energy that you do not want to waste on
Mhm.
WrestleMania week. So yeah, stay up there by all means, but you won't want to be walking all the way down there a couple of times a day. Absolutely not.
If if you wanna stay on the Strip, don't go any north than Wynn Encore, and if you're staying at Wynn Encore, can I be your friend? Because I would love to stay there because it is beautiful. It is the most expensive and the most nicest hotel on the Strip, right, Dom?
100% beautiful places. Absolutely
Yeah,
stunning.
yeah, yeah, but more or less, stay the Central because you want to be close to T-Mobile, and Dom, you're staying at Park MGM. I could literally throw a rock from my room to and it'll hit T-Mobile. That's how close it is, guys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not this year. I'm staying at MGM Grand, but yeah, last year I did.
Oh, yes, that's right.
But
My
that's it.
apologies.
But yeah, Park MGM. Honestly, I can't recommend that hotel enough. Brilliant. And the same New York as well. Next door, you will see cheap rooms come up there. Absolutely perfect. And people, you'll read things online saying about Excalibur and Luxor, and they're not that great. And you know what? They're not as great as some of the hotels in Vegas, but Vegas has a very high bar when it comes to levels of hotel. They are
Mhm.
perfectly okay for normal people, for most normal people to stay in there. You're not going to be spending an
Yeah,
awful lot of time in your room. If you want to save money, there is nothing wrong with those hotels at all. They are
no.
perfectly good hotels. They will be good for
You are
you
there to sleep.
100%. They'd be good for you anywhere
That's it.
else. Yeah, they are only classed as like the bad ones of Vegas because they are the worst of a very, very good bunch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true,
Yeah.
it's true, and they're old, like, I mean, Vegas is surrounded by a ton of newer hotels within, like, the last 10, 15 years. So, yeah, when you're taking a look at those older hotels, Luxor, Excalibur, yeah, it's you're comparing apples and oranges, but, I mean, if a Holiday Inn is good enough for you, Excalibur and Luxor is also
Oh,
gonna be good.
yeah, like, yeah, and they're fun places, by the way. Celebrate and Luxor are,
Yeah,
like, really fun
make
places
it
to
so
stay.
fun.
Yeah, really
Oh,
fun,
yeah,
really fun. So, yeah, nothing wrong with staying in those. They will be the cheapest, but if
that's
you
right.
can now, one thing that people have been asking is,
Yes.
"When should I book a hotel?" Well, now, right now, immediately. If you do not have a hotel reservation, you need to make
Yeah,
it, and if it's more expensive than you want to pay, still make that booking and
yeah.
get it on free cancellation.
That's the most important, let's stress that. Free cancellation, everybody.
Yeah. Get something down to work from. Get yourself a base. Book yourself a couple if you like.
Mhm,
Because so you've got a
mhm,
couple of options, but at least get one. Get something down. Because the prices may well come down. They may well go up and then come back
mhm,
down, or they may well just go up. So just get something booked. You don't really know what's going to happen
mhm,
with the prices, but there's a good chance that they will come down. Now, but that free cancellation is going to give you that opportunity to just change your mind and just book something else. And
that's right.
the best thing about changing hotels in Vegas is it's very, very simple.
Mhm,
So, especially people would say, well, I don't want to book this because if another MGM room comes up and it's cheaper, it's going to. No, it's very easy to change. Even if you see a cheaper deal at the same hotel that you're staying at, all you
mhm,
need to do is call up MGM and tell them, and they will just transfer that booking seamlessly for you. So if
yep,
you are booked in the Park MGM, for instance, and so I'll give you my example from last year of what I did. I originally booked 7 nights at Park MGM. I originally booked and it was $1,200 all included for the week. Okay. I then got offered a deal to stay at Cosmopolitan for the week, including resort fees, for $600.
yep.
That's a much
No-brainer, right, guys?
hotel at half the price. It's an
That's
absolute
right.
no brainer. Park MGM's lovely, beautiful 4-star hotel, but Cosmopolitan is a 5-star hotel, and it really is a 5-star hotel.
It's beautiful. Oh my god, I stayed there recently and not wrestling related, and it is beautiful. So,
Stunning.
yes,
So
if you guys have the opportunity, it's in the budget, whatever, stay at Cosmo. Carry on, Dom.
So I thought, fantastic. I'm finally going to get to stay at Cosmo, and I'm only going to pay $600 for the entire trip. What a brilliant deal! Really excited. 2 weeks before Vegas. So all I did for that is I called MGM, and because they're both owned by MGM, and I said, "Hey,
Mhm.
I seen you got a better deal. It's half the price, and I can stay at the Cosmo. No problem, Mr. Walker. transferred it like that in an instant.
Mhm.
I didn't need to do anything. A couple of weeks before Mania, I saw again that they'd offered me another deal, Park MGM, and it was basically free. And I gave another phone call, kind of begrudgingly, because I kind of wanted to stay at Cosmo, but but it was free, and they're offering me Raw Resort credit and fee and play money. So I said
They are paying you at this point to stay
they were
there.
paying me at this point. I did pay. I had to pay in total when I arrived. I think my total bill was $240 for the week for part. They
Yeah.
also gave me $250 in resort credit and $190 or $185 in free play. So they basically paid me to stay there.
Yeah.
So I just called up MGM again and I said, "Can you change to that room?" And they did. It's seamless. It's very easy. And even if it's the same hotel with the same deal, it just takes a phone call. So it's really simple. So get something booked. Get something booked now,
Mhm.
even if it's a little bit more than you want to pay. Get something at a location that you think is going to suit you. Get it down, and then change it later if something better comes along, because it's very, very easy to do.
Yeah, and like I yesterday, I was just doing a little bit of research just to see how much right now hotels are going for on Strip versus Fremont Street, right? And I posted this in the server. I found from Thursday to Monday your basic room at Harrah's. Harrah's is a Caesars property. It is a fantastic location. One of our server members, I recommended that he stay there. I got him a really good deal and he loved it. And it's right on the monorail. There's a monorail stop there, but it was like $600. That's everything. That's your taxes. That's your resort fees. That's everything. $600 for Mania weekend is not bad at all, especially for that location, that hotel. It's a wonderful hotel. The location is great. It's good if you want some access to cheaper eats and stuff like that. I found that deal on vegas.com and that rate was also posted on Expedia. I'm pretty sure you could probably even get it directly through Harrah's, but check that out. But I was looking at on strip hotels Thursday to Monday. They're going to run you anywhere between $600 to $3,000. Large gap. The average was looking at right now about $800. Off strip, Fremont Street is going to run you $600 to $800. And now this is your taxes and resort fees, everything all in. So that's what we're looking at right now. But guys, listen to what Dom said. Make your reservation. We can always change it later if we see a cheaper rate.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There's one red herring that we haven't really talked about. We talked about staying on the strip. We talked about off strip. A lot of people will bring this up and they'll bring it up again. So I'm just going to mention it. Rio
Sure.
Hotel. People
Yeah.
always bring up Rio because it's not downtown. It's also not on the strip, but it's not as far away from the strip as downtown.
That's
And
right.
they offer great deals to stay there.
Mhm.
Another one that kind of falls kind of into that category is Resorts World. They occasionally will offer quite good deals to stay there. It might not be quite as cheap, but it is a pretty cool place to stay. So you might quite fancy that. But again, it's in a bit of a weirdish kind of location.
Yeah.
Rio,
Resorts World isn't so
not quite
bad.
as bad. No, it's quite
Right, it's not as bad as Rio. Rio is essentially on the other side of the highway,
yeah, yeah.
right? Resorts World will still be on the strip, along with Venetian Palazzo, Wynn Encore, Treasure Island. Do you have any experiences with them?
So I've been to Resorts World
Mhm.
before, but I know it's officially kind of stripped, but it's almost a little bit off and away from kind of everything else. So I don't kind of
Yeah.
Rio. Yes, look, Rio is an option, but beware. But don't think it's an easy walk. It is walkable to get to the strip. It's walkable.
Mhm.
And I appreciate there are people that out there that say it'll be fine to walk, but I will promise you, you will not want to do that at the end of the night. You might be okay doing it in the morning, but you will not want to
Yeah.
do that walk. And it's not, again, I go down to this. Some walks in Vegas are okay and some walks aren't. It's not that
Mhm.
it's dangerous. It's just a bit of a boring street. It's a long street in order to get there.
And you gotta go uphill. If you're from the strip and you gotta go to
Yes.
Rio, you gotta go up
Yeah.
and over the highway.
Oh,
So you gotta go
whatever
uphill.
Google
It's
Maps,
a trek.
yeah, and whatever Google Maps tells you of how long it is, that's to get to the start of the hotel, like the car park. By the time you've got from the start of the hotel to your actual room, add another
Yeah.
15 minutes on your journey. Because
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's how long it takes to walk through the car park, the casino, find where the lifts are and get up to your room. It is
Guys,
these places are huge. You do not understand.
huge.
Yeah.
Everybody you everybody underestimates how large this is not your basic hotel, your basic Holiday Inn. These are resorts. I put into quotations. These properties are massive. It takes you from the sidewalk to your room, like you said, Dom, 15 minutes, sometimes from the front of the hotel to the
Yeah.
elevators. That in itself is 15 minutes. And then you got to get up the elevator, and now your room is at the other end of that hallway, and that's another 5-10 minute walk. Like it's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Oh my
Absolutely.
god, guys.
Now,
A lot of walking, a lot of walking. Yeah.
I can't say anything bad about the Rio. Rio's a great
Mhm.
place. I like the Rio. I like that area. I like being around Chinatown. I love it kind of around there. Cool place. And we'll do another episode when we talk about areas to visit around
Mhm.
Vegas. And we'll talk about that a bit more. But do not think you'll be walking there and back every day. You will be getting an Uber or a taxi, and it will be costing you $12 to $15 every single time you do it. So it may seem cheaper now, but in the reality of it is you're going to be a little bit off. It's going to be a bit awkward. It's not something you can just nip back to your room for. And there is really, although there is some good facilities in the resort itself, there's nothing else around there. I mean, you can walk 10 minutes and be in Chinatown, but that's only if you want to go to Chinatown. Yeah. And Chinatown is not like Chinatown in London or New York. It's not like that kind of Chinatown. But it's still cool, but it's not the kind of Chinatown that you see on television. It's a warehouse estate basically. But yeah, so Rio is an option. It's cheap. It's a great hotel. Don't get me wrong. It's a perfectly fine hotel. But again, it's not where you want to be. It's not where you
Yeah.
want to be. So that's the
And guys, I also want to put into context how large Vegas is, because you look at a map and you're like, everything looks so close. From Resorts World to Allegiant Stadium is about 4 miles. That's like a 1.5 hour walk, guys. Like that's and I would tack on an extra half hour to
the
that
least.
simply because of the heat. You're not moving at your normal pace. You're
And the
moving a little bit
crowds.
slower.
And the crowds and the people
And the
and
crowds.
just getting
Yes.
across from one side to the other sidewalks and just how that slows
Yeah,
you
you
down.
can't just
Everything
you
takes
can't
longer.
cross the street like, how we cross the street here. Everything's a bridge, everything's stairs, elevators, bridges, escalators. Yeah, it's not just a straight walk. It's not at all. So, yeah, I would say the main strip is about a 3 mile stretch. Would you say that,
Yeah, I
Dom?
think it's 3.5 miles, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of walking.
Yeah. And you will be exhausted. You will get hot, you will get bothered, and it will ruin your trip. So,
And a lot of our members here, they got to Vegas Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
yeah.
And they were gung ho. They were like, they were doing everything. They were walking everywhere, doing everything. And then by the time it was Friday, Saturday, so Saturday, by the time WrestleMania hit, they were already exhausted.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do anything.
No.
So you really have to pace yourself
Yeah.
when you're dealing with walking and heat, dry desert heat, something that a lot of us will have never experienced.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we say it's going to be good weather. It will be good weather. Wrong between around 25 degrees normally, but you never know.
Yeah.
I've been in Vegas at that time of year, and it's been up to 40 degrees. So you
Yep.
really don't know. It could go really, really hot. It could be cooler, but it could be a
Mhm.
lot hotter. We're in the desert, so
Yep.
yeah. Look, I'm wary that we've gone quite a long time on this hotel topic, but I hope we've covered it. Is there anything you think we missed here, Katie, that we want to cover just on the hotels bit?
Quickly, Black Friday.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about Black Friday. What can we expect? Do I hold off on Black Friday for Black Friday sales to book something? No, book something now. Black Friday, we don't know what it's going to look like. Last year, rates were advertised to be 20 to 30% discount. Book your reservation now. If you see something on Black Friday, that's a really good deal, whatever that's cheaper,
Yeah.
apply that rate. No big deal. Just book something now within your price range that you're comfortable with. Please do not hold us accountable. If you end up waiting and you end up not finding something within your price range or anything like that. But if you have any questions still regarding regarding hotels, off strip, on strip, just send us a message in the hotel channel
Yeah.
in the
Or just
server
drop
or
her a
even
message
in the
in the comment.
podcast.
Yeah, drop us a message in
Yeah,
the comments. Drop us a message on the YouTube when we get this on YouTube.
right.
However you want to contact us, that's fine. We will answer you. Drop us a message on social media, whatever advice you want, because we've covered the basics, but there's more intricate stuff that we can go into and that we know, and we'll be able to answer for you for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely. This is like what, part 1 of our Vegas mini series,
Yeah.
we'll call it,
Yeah, and we haven't
right?
even touched the service yet, Katie, right? In fact, we haven't
Oh,
even touched My Vegas Rewards, which for some people will be considering about booking hotels where you can get comps. We're gonna cover that in more detail later. Don't don't let that distract you from getting a hotel booking down now. The reason I say that is
mhm.
because you may be counting on using those rewards and you're still gonna do them, but the hotel calendars for booking getting those comp nights won't be available until January anyway. So make
The
sure
earliest.
yeah. So get something booked now. Anyway, again, you can
Mhm.
always change it. So we will go into that in more detail and deeper detail on
Yeah.
another episode if you are collecting those My Vegas points for those complimentary nights. Just on the subject of Black Friday that you mentioned there, because I know on the Black Friday deals, they don't just offer hotel deals, they offer some for shows. Somebody did ask, what shows do you recommend? Again, we're going to go into full episode on all the attractions and all the stuff in Vegas, but I will give you my top 3 recommendations just in case anything comes up on a Black Friday. So, RuPaul's Drag Race at Flamingo. If you like RuPaul's Drag Race, you will enjoy this show. It is great fun. If you haven't seen RuPaul's Drag Race before, it's a fun variety drag show. If you are a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, then you will know people that are in the show. They use people from finalists and winners from previous seasons and things like that. It's just a great night out at Flamingo. Flamingo is one of my favorite hotels in Vegas, mainly because they have that wonderful wildlife garden. It was the first LGBT friendly hotel in Las Vegas. It's a super cool place to hang out. I love it. And that's why RuPaul's Drag Race is there.
I wanna tack on, you were talking about Flamingo, Piff the Magic Dragon, also at Flamingo.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic magic show. So funny, dry British humor. I love I love you guys. I love your sense of humor, but it was a really good magic show. Like I said, it magic and comedy.
Yeah.
So don't sleep on Flamingo when it comes to entertainment. But
Absolutely.
carry on, Dom.
People are asking about Cirque du Soleil. We know Vegas is famous for Cirque du Soleil. Which shows should you go to see? There
Yep.
are some crap ones. Trust me, I've had to sit through them, but there are some. But if you're going to see one, Cirque du Soleil show when you're in Vegas, go and see Absinthe. That is the one that's on at the minute that you
Yes.
need to go and see.
Is that considered a Cirque du Soleil absinthe?
Yeah, it's a Cirque show. Yeah.
Is it like a Cirque du
It's
Soleil show?
no, it's not like the
I
whole.
don't
It's not
know.
quite. It's
No.
more raunchy, sort of adulty. It's not
Yeah.
quite.
I
It's not like your car and your O where they're all swinging around and that kind of thing as much. There is some of it. Don't
no.
get me wrong, but it's a Cirque show.
No, I
Yeah.
I highly also recommend absinthe. That was also on my list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absinthe, 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 absinthe. Love. Gonna be a little bit harder to find deals for that
It's
one just
expensive.
because of how it
Popular.
it is out of all the shows, it's probably one of the more pricier ones to go
It
see.
is.
However, it is worth every penny. You are going to leave in stitches. Like, you are going to be laughing, and if you are somebody that takes offense to anything for that matter, maybe don't go see that show, but if you have an open mind and an open sense of humor, a really good sense of humor,
Yeah.
and you like to get a little bit raunchy, this is the show to see.
100%. Well, it's one of them because I'm going to give you one more option here because if you notice that Absinthe is quite expensive or it doesn't quite fit
Mhm.
in, there is one more show which I like to think is a bit of a hidden gem. And this is based in
Tell us.
Plaza Hotel in downtown. Now, it's actually currently
Okay.
not running due to lack of funding, but I've heard on the grapevine it's coming back very soon. So it should be in
Okay.
Vegas Mania. Now, this is a classic old showroom at the Plaza Hotel. It's like one of the few that are left like really vintage style Vegas. So this is a vintage
Mm.
Vegas variety show with a different sort of show every single night with different performers. So they could be eating swords or doing all sorts of, but it's very flirty, it's very raunchy, it's very exciting. It's called Misbehaves Mavericks, and it's
Okay, I've heard
cheap.
that.
Yeah, you pay $49, and that's it. There's no taxes, so it's just $49.
Love it.
It's not the biggest showroom in the world, so you get tickets. It's not on at the minute because they ran out of funding, but it is coming back. Hopefully, it will be back Vegas Mania. But if you want to go and have again that kind of really fun Vegas raunchy crazy experience, I recommend there on a budget. Misbehaves Mavericks.
Oh, oh, Dom, can I just share one more?
Yeah, of course.
Actually, that's really unique. I experienced this the last time I went to Vegas. It's called the Magician Study. Now, tickets for this show is you need a password to even purchase tickets. So I do have the password. The password has been the same for years, so I could share it with everybody. But it is in a mysterious location.
Yeah.
The location's at Park MGM. But they will text you the location though, the day of your show, but it is super like mysterious, very intimate, no more than 50 people, very interactive. It's a magic show, very funny. It's one of the better magic shows. Classic Vegas magic, but it's one of the better ones just simply because of how intimate and interactive it was. Lots of crowd work. Loved it. You could look it up on TikTok, Magician Study. Very mysterious, very moody. Prior to the show, they have access to like a really good like speakeasy bar. They make custom drinks for you. So they tell you what do you like? What kind of mood are you in? What kind of flavors do you like? And they whip something up for you. So I really liked that. But the show starts essentially the second you walk in the door.
Amazing.
So that's all I'm going to say to that.
That sounds
But
great.
look it up. Look
Love
it up.
that. Love that. So there's a few ideas, guys. We are going to do another episode and we'll go more in depth on some more
Oh yeah.
shows and stuff you can do. But just in the meantime, you see any cheap deals come up maybe around Black Friday. Those are some
Vegas.com will be the place to find your deals because those Vegas.com every year, Black Friday, make a purchase, any amount, you will receive $100 voucher to use on that website, on their website. They're a legit spot. A lot of people ended up using this promo last year. Dom, have you ever used it? I've used it a ton
I
in all my Vegas.
think I used it once. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, but a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely use that. Keep an eye out for that Vegas.com Black Friday. But I mean, Black Friday, we're about a month and a half away. I am on the lookout for you guys, and we are going to go into future episodes, shows, restaurants, things to do. We can get into more about methods of transportation if you guys want. What do you guys want to know? Please let us know. Oh, also best places to gamble, tipping. Tipping, that's a big one. How much to budget, flights, all that stuff. We're going to get into a lot more.
Yeah, lots and lots more to cover. Thank you so much, Katie, for joining me today. I think this has been a really great episode.
Thank you.
So
Definitely. I hope it wasn't too much for you guys.
I hope not. I hope you guys have found this useful. So good luck in your booking of
Mhm.
Vegas trips and stay tuned for more tips for your Vegas experience coming up in the next few weeks and months.
Yep.
My name's Daddy Dom. Thank you so much, Katie, for joining me today. We've been Pinfalls and Passports, and we'll
No
catch
problem.
you all again soon.
Take care, guys.